My poor mother, I don't know how she survived, or even my dad for that matter. About the gorilla suit and the teenager, and how I had this brainstorm idea of making money. Actually, it wasn't a brainstorm, it was actually something that was really successful. What ended up happening was when I was young, I raised money to buy a gorilla suit because I wanted to do singing telegrams. And I asked my mom if I could take an ad out in the Hartford Current, which is our local Connecticut paper, for Valentine's Day. And this was back when I was just probably 11 and 12, maybe 13. I've done a lot. If you've been watching this series, I'll post a link down bottom. You can see more to catch up. But my wild and crazy adventures as a child and what I put my mother through. So what ended up happening was I said, "Ma, can I put an ad in the Hartford Current and do singing telegrams?" And she goes, "As a dancing gorilla?" And she goes, no. And I'm like, okay, well, I did it anyway. So I ended up calling the Hartford Current and I placed an ad and they said, "How old are you?" And I'm like, "What do you mean how old I am? I'm old enough to place this ad." And they knew they were talking to a young child probably, but they placed it. So I said, "If you would like to send a singing telegram for Valentine's Day to your loved one, call." Put my parents' phone number on there. Oh, heavens. So I made sure that I was home from school as fast as possible so I could check the answering machine. It was one of those old-fashioned ones with the cassette tapes, and I was able to erase everything and call people back and arrange this for a school day because the whole purpose was my mom did not want me to miss a day of school. Well, then what happened was somebody actually called and said late in the evening, woke my parents up and said, "Yes, I'm calling to book a dancing gorilla." And my mother was like, "Dancing what?" So I had to tell my mom that I had booked over $1,500 worth of dancing gorillograms. And this was back in the early 80s. So it was a time when $1,500 was a lot of money. So my mom she did take me out of school that day because I said, "You don't want your son to lose $1,800 or $1,500 at the time." And then I ended up making all my money doing add-ons, which was selling mallard balloons. So if they wanted mallard balloons, it cost double because we had to pick them up. The problem is downtown Hartford to where we would get the balloons was about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. So my mother drove me to downtown Hartford early in the morning, and I ended up getting out of the car. The station wagon was an old green Chevy station wagon. Remember that old olive green station wagon color with the tan trim? And I got out and I would say, "Ma, go to the card gallery and pick up all the mallard balloons you can and bring them back." And I would go do my singing telegrams. And I made a fortune. But in the meantime, my mother was like, "What have I done?" I feel so bad for her because I put my mother through some crazy, crazy times. I can't imagine having a child like myself and running into all of those challenges, but I was an entrepreneur. And I think my mom would commend me for that. So thank you for subscribing to the wild and crazy adventures of a childhood. And as we continue, be sure to check back because we're going to have some more fun adventures that you're going to get to go on and some sneak peeks you've heard about what it was like when I ran away with only Campbell's soup, or when I went to New York City and took the Greyhound bus. Watch all those episodes here. Like I said, I don't know how Mom, Mother, and Dad made it. Or when I thought I struck it rich by finding all these diamonds and placed them in the tree garden. Ended up killing the whole tree garden because they weren't diamonds. It was salt. So if you want to kill a tree, use salt because when it rains and snows, it seeps into the roots and it goes. Holler. See you for the next show.